Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Friday night and I've spent a few hours going through like the most recently updated videos and information online about the Kiely Rodni case. A YouTuber named Plunder, she's amazing. I only found her about a week ago and she gets really into like super deep detail. Well, tonight she released a video and wow, okay. There's some truth to what we already know, but we're definitely getting some more clarification. And this is stuff that's apparently been pretty much verified by, you know, Placer County. So, yeah, let's talk about what I learned tonight. Apparently, Sammy has come out and stated that it was Kiely's idea to lie to her mom to be able to go to the party that night. That her plan was to get drunk and effed up, according to Sammy. So she was going to lie to her mother, Kiely was, and tell her that she was going to be the DD for that night. And at some point, Sammy mentions in this conversation that she was supposed to text her mother and state that she was going to be later than her curfew because she was looking for her friend. And she was going to use that as an excuse to be late. At this point, it has been verified that there was someone else that saw Kiely at the party. Okay. Elsa Pekarek apparently was there and reported seeing her at 12:40 in the morning, which would have been just a few minutes after Sammy states that she got a call from her, but still after the police are stating that Kiely's phone died. So I'm just going to assume here that at some point there was a conversation had between her and Mags and Sammy about how Kiely could get to the party that night. So they're both very aware that a lie was told, which would be, I think, why they've been in the forefront of the entire thing. They have a guilty conscience. The actual thing that Lindsay is quoted stating that when she got that text message at 11:30 stating that Kiely was going to be leaving in 45 minutes, she expected her to be leaving at 12:15 and being home by 1. So 45 minutes, and that's actually given her a little bit. We've already established her close relationship with Kiely was BS, okay? They were party friends. This was something where they only like hung out at parties together, but they didn't plan to go to parties together. They hung out together if they just so happened to be at the same party. According to Plunder, it has been verified that Sammy left the party that night with a male. And what's been being told to the police department by other people that were there is that around 12:30, a large group of older men like crashed the party. And basically as soon as like all these older guys in their like later 20s popped up, all of the younger teens felt real uncomfortable and they took off. Which would explain the mass exodus that the lakeside campers, and it's a couple, I had their names, I don't know where I put it now, but it's a couple that were camping over there that told the detectives and everybody this about, you know, seeing the cars start coming in around 9:30 and then like all these cars just leaving at 12:30. So I'm wondering if they also saw like some extra cars coming in at 12:30 that like right before everyone was leaving. But at this point, they knew a party was going on, so they probably didn't think of anything about, like, traffic coming and going. So it is interesting that enough cars left at 12:30 after these older male party crashers showed up for them to recognize what was going on again. Then here come this large crowd of males, older males that should not have been there, at the exact same time that Sammy is stating she is leaving. Now, we do know Sammy left with a male. Did they mingle with these older guys that crashed the party for just a few minutes? In the very few minutes that it took for Kiely's phone to turn off from the time that these guys crashed the party. And Sammy left with one of the older guys and left Kiely there with the older guys that were left at the party. Or did Sammy feel uncomfortable because these older guys were there and jumped into a car of a guy that she knew from school and got a ride home and left Kiely there for some reason? Because if she's been verified by people outside of the close friend circle to have been there, then her vehicle was there. So if no one is claiming to have left with her, and no one is claiming to have seen her actually left, where the hell is she? But what my biggest path of thinking is at this point, because the SUV is nowhere, okay? I don't care what anyone tries to say. She did not get in that vehicle and leave in that vehicle by herself and crash somewhere. Now, if it just so happens to have happened that way, then that's like a 1 in a million chance in my brain that that's how it went down. At this point, based on the fact they're stating that her phone last pinged at 12:33, which is right after this huge group of guys made everyone uncomfortable and a bunch of people left, could mean to me that someone there took her. It isn't hard with someone that you're trying to kidnap and take into their own vehicle to take their keys and press the lock or the alarm button to make the car go off to find out which car belongs to your victim. Okay? So if these people showed up and there was multiple people in the vehicles, huge distraction, huge chaos, people coming in that aren't welcome, people leaving because my kid, I'm sorry, he's playing video games with his friends online and he's ridiculously loud. But massive amounts of people coming in that are making people uncomfortable, so there's massive amounts of people leaving. All that chaos could have literally just been a distraction to see who could be taken. And you don't want to do more than one because then it's obvious that something is going on, trafficking-wise, kidnapping-wise, whatever. But I'm leaning more towards the fact that she met up with an older guy at the party, something went wrong. She was either too drunk and effed up to fight this guy off, and something happened, and she and her car are elsewhere, wherever this person took her. That's basically where I'm at this point. Something happened that had to do with that mass amount of people coming in at the same time that her phone last pinged, and her last being seen at 12:40. Because that's only a 10-minute time difference here, okay? And it's not like this large group of dudes is going to come in and just because they walked in 30 seconds later, everyone's going to leave. Like, they had to have had time to have done something that made people uncomfortable. And I have an idea of what it could have been. Placer County has came out and stated that they have an epidemic in their town with rainbow fentanyl. It's nice and pretty, y'all. Even comes in a vape. Jesus Christ. It's apparently something that's been causing problems. And there was an arrest at the beginning of this month on a death of, I believe, a 15-year-old girl that overdosed on some sort of pill. And the guy, it was laced with fentanyl. I'm gonna just say it's relevant because it was laced with fentanyl. And the guy was arrested like 2 months later, the day or 2 days or a few days after Kiely was reported missing. Now, her intention was to get drunk and effed up, and these big dudes, these older guys, could have popped in with this pretty shiny new drug, all pretty and rainbowy and glittery, and here she is, this cute little bubbly 16-year-old girl, already drunk and messed up. And abandoned to fend for herself. I don't think Sammy had anything to physically do with what happened to Kiely. But I don't appreciate the fact that this information about these older men showing up and the timelines adding up to whenever we've last seen and heard by technology and by human eyes that Kiely existed. I don't appreciate the silence. Now, in my opinion, this is the most logical path that night could have taken at this point, because it also correlates with what's been going on with Ryan Upchurch and what he's been uncovering. This Myro guy is basically saying that older guys go to these parties and give free drugs, bad drugs, to young girls and take advantage of them. The Rodni guy who called in to ICML said the exact same thing. And when he was on another live, I believe it was actually American Dream Chaser, another man calling in anonymously voice only, sounded a lot like the guy we've already been listening to, dropped names. Okay, now I will have a link for the video in the comments. I'm not going to release the names here because we don't know if these two people being named are real people or not. Now, the Rodni character does have more connections that Ryan has found, and I'm not going to get into any deeper of that in this video because I kind of feel like at this point he's just kind of picking at Ickadmel a little bit, which he has every right to. So I'm not going to go into Ryan's newest information that he has because, I mean, some of it totally, like, I saw the connections, but then some of it I was like, oh, he's jabbing at Mel right now. So I'm going to leave that alone and dissect a little bit more of that before I go off too much about it. Both the Rodni character and the Miro character have both said that they live in Roseville. And now the Roseville Police Department are actively a part of this investigation. And it matters because this Miro guy and the Rodni person and the person who called into this other show that are supposed to be 3 different people but sound exactly the same are giving us a rundown that sounds like older guys came in, took advantage of younger girls, and now we have a missing child. Okay? And he could easily be speculative. He could easily be in a really weird, roundabout, really psychotic, catfishy ass way trying to tell us what happened that night, because this is exactly what this guy has been saying this entire time. And now that we have found out more details about what Sammy has actually said, like, it's seriously starting to correlate here, guys, and it could literally be one of the reasons, or the reason why the vehicle has not been found. Whoever was taking advantage of her took it. What else could it be? This just is another story I have to add to the list of the ones that I already forced my children to listen to on any road trip that we go on, because I need them to understand the dangers of doing something so stupid. And I do know that as of Monday, Sammy and her parents left California. But at first I was like really aggravated hearing that they allowed her to leave state, especially since I just heard about it. This was just now circulating today, Friday, on Twitter. It was the first time I'd heard anything, and she's been gone since Monday. But the truth is, she was just a stupid girl too. She's an 18-year-old, barely even an adult. She tried to fit in some big girl panties that she just couldn't fit into yet. And hopefully this has taught her something that she can take with her for the rest of her life. If this version of what we're hearing now is true, which I, to be honest, really feel like it is, like something's just telling me like, okay, I think we're on the right path now, and my nerves about it are gone so much. Not that it's not such a serious situation, but not having any idea, like not being able to put these pieces together in literally any way has caused so much chaos in this case. It was just completely unfair to Kiely because it caused a lot of hindrance in what could have been done. And all we had was what the police was allowing Sammy to go out and like be the forefront of and tell us, and it wasn't even the complete truth of what they already knew. So until we get more details from Sammy on how long she stayed after these people showed up versus her leaving and leaving Kiely at the party with these guys, there's a lot of different scenarios that still could have taken place. But yeah, at this point I am under the deep assumption that something went horribly wrong between her and someone who was not welcome there, and this is where we're at. Let's see what they can find next. Keep thinking. Bye, y'all.